Wait for it to leave. Okay. Well, good afternoon, everyone, and thank you for joining us. And I'm delighted to have with me here today Quamel Arroyo, MTA's newly named Chief Accessibility Officer, alongside Will Fisher, Long Island Railroad's Chief Innovation Officer, and from MTA IT, Sohab Malik, Deputy Chief Web Digital Design. Jeff Pacini, Local Chairman for TCU, Local Lodge 177, and Christopher Greif, Transit Riders Council, and a key participant for Long Island Railroad's Accessibility Task Force. They've all been strong, passionate advocates for our riders and have been working with us closely as we deliver improved services for all. And thank you for all of you for being here and for your continued support. And as we're here today to talk about new accessibility improvements at the Long Island Railroad, I must take a minute to mention and reflect on our dear friend and a well-known accessibility advocate, Edith Prentice, who we recently lost. Edith was a prized member of the ADA task force, and many of the improvements we've made and continue to make are because of her invaluable input. It goes without saying that we miss her and her tireless advocacy, but we will continue to do all we can to make her proud. And today we're taking a new customer communications a few steps further as we launch brand new features that'll help Long Island riders benefit better informed along with feeling safer and more in control of their experiences than ever before. This is coming as we're gearing up to launch our new timetables this coming Monday, March 29th, which will offer a greater level of train service to better accommodate riders as the vaccine continues to roll out across New York and more people start to return to public transportation. My goal while leading the Long Island Railroad workforce and serving the public has been to elevate public transportation system to new heights and do so for everyone. The MTA has pledged that making all of its public transportation systems fully accessible is a main priority. That means retrofitting and renovating existing stations, which has been and remains a key tenet of our capital focus, but we know much more is needed to make our system fully accessible and convenient for all. Our innovation team here at Long Island Railroad has launched a complete revamp of our Train Time app from last year, and they've been hard at work every day making improvements to the app that will have an immediate and lasting impact on the way customers are able to navigate our system. Today we're launching several new features that will enable customers to view escalators, elevators, ramp locations at all stations within the app as they plan their trips. More importantly, they will be able to see where these amenities are in relation to specific train cars in both their origin and destination stations. This update will also include enhanced screen readers to support and ensure the wealth of information is available in the app is accessible to everyone. I'll let Will fill you in on those details and those features in a few moments. As you may remember, last year we gave Long Island Railroad riders a powerful, first-of-its-kind information tool right in the palm of their hands through the Long Island Railroad Train Time app, enabling them to see how many people are in each car in the incoming train so they can position themselves in the best place to find a seat or to find a train that allows them the more space that they're looking for, particularly during these times of COVID-19. And today we're taking this tech a bit further, and we're happy to announce that our digital platform signs have been updated across the system at all 124 stations, so that customers standing on the platforms can simply look up and see the loading information for an incoming train, and they can move along the platform whichever way they'd like to get to a less crowded car. This is in addition to the historical loading information tool currently in the app that allows customers to track how crowded or empty a particular train has been over the past few days. These tools will go a long way to providing the comfort and information our customers are looking for as New York continues on its reopening path and more people look to use public transportation to get them where they need to be. We understand how vital service we provide here at Long Island Railroad, and we're doing everything we can to ensure people that continue to choose public transportation and help our economy get back on track. Over the past year, it's been all hands-on-deck effort to battle this virus and make sure public transportation remains safe for our customers and for our employees. These new tools complement those efforts, which are still ongoing, like our new air filtration systems, enhanced car station cleaning, and mask force campaign. I'm continually proud of our in-house team who push the envelope in innovation and time again to better serve our customers. Several of the features we've launched over the past year have been industry first, and I couldn't be happier that it's the Long Island Railroad customers who get to experience these major innovations. We know information is power, and we're giving that power to our customers in the app and making the best decision for them on how they choose to travel. So we're standing here with a fantastic team driven by Will Fisher, Chief Innovation Officer, and while there are many departments that supported this effort, we wouldn't be here today without the significant contributions from our Long Island Railroad comms staff, who are proud members of the Brotherhood of Railroad Signalmen, and MTIT, proud members of Transportation and Communications Union. While Chris Natale, General Chairman for BRS, Nick Peluso, National Rep for TCU, and Mike Sanchez, Local Chair for TCU 982, couldn't be here, their support has been instrumental in our successes. And all of this work helps get us closer to our goal, becoming a fully accessible railroad for all. And we're proud now to have Quamel join us and say a few words.
Good afternoon. Good afternoon. I'm Quamel Arroyo, MTA's Chief Accessibility Officer, and I want to thank you all for being here with us today. Particularly thank you to the Long Island Railroad crew, Phil, Will, and your entire staff, and for your dedication to improving what accessibility looks like here at the railroads. And thank you, Phil, for mentioning Edith, a forceful advocate, a dear friend, and mentor of mine. We will continue to honor her life by increasing accessibility throughout our network and the state and beyond for me. For wheelchair users like myself, seniors with mobility difficulties, parents with strollers, and so many others, it can be a daily challenge to get around. That is why the MTA is working hard to increase transportation accessibility, building elevators, and making the necessary station improvements to serve our clients' needs. But today, Phil, Will, Sunny, and their teams have gone a step further. By being innovative and leveraging technology to enhance passenger navigation on the railroads, it is critical and necessary to have our infrastructure in place. But it's also important to be able to provide our customers with the audio and visual cues that they need to get them to and from their trains to the nearest elevator, escalator, or ramp of their choosing. We heard from Phil how important information is, and I will tell you, as a wheelchair user myself, information is the game changer to whether what time I leave my house, what station I choose to go to, and how I move around those stations. And I know the same is true for many other persons with disabilities throughout the state of New York. And while most of us often have our heads buried in our phones and can easily get access to that information that we so desperately need, many of our riders can't. I'm happy that the Long Island Railroad team considered all of our riders when upgrading the Train Time app. I'm excited for the enhanced screen reader support for our blind and low vision users. And it's not just a voice to read the information out loud, but you can enable the speech output to the speed, volume, and or language of your choice. These features are a big deal to many riders, and they demonstrate how public transportation can adapt and evolve. As technology continues to advance and experts continue to build for the future, we should be thoughtful of all the communities that we serve and develop tools that meet the needs and challenges of each and every transit rider. Let's not forget that mass transit has the power to bring about greater social equity, and that means inclusion of persons from all populations and all abilities. So once again, thank you to the Long Island Railroad for providing these upgrades, and I look forward to seeing more of these innovations. And I would like to bring up our Chief Innovation Officer, Will Fisher.
Thank you, Kamal. All right. So, in January, we introduced the in-app chat in train time, and I'm happy to report that over the last 2 months, the average response time has been 38 seconds. The industry standard happens to be much greater than that, much to my surprise, but we get back to people very quickly, and it's working quite well, so very happy about that. So today we're going to report, we're going to announce 2 big things. One is around accessibility, and Kamal just talked a little bit about that, and another is around our digital signage, our digital platform signs. So why don't we talk about accessibility first. So this is what we call the platform screen, and you can see on it the incoming train and all the cars on the train and how it aligns with the platform that you're on. And you can also see how crowded or how loaded each train is. In this case, it's all green. So today we're announcing that we are putting elevators, escalators, and ramps on this diagram. So we actually had a pretty big data collection effort. A number of people from the station's staff went out and did the manual work to collect the locations of these structural elements to be able to put this in the app. So let me show you what this looks like. So now you can see this on the app, and if we zoom in, you can see, for example, that the 4th car aligns with that escalator, and the elevator would be a couple cars back. We also have real-time information about this, so if the escalator or the elevator is not working, then that would show up in the app as well. So how do our customers, or how do we intend them to use it? There are actually 2 things that we've heard. The first is that customers, especially, let's say those with mobility difficulties, want to know in advance. Just like Kamal was saying, they want to take out the anxiety of all the different touch points in their journey. So the more information you have at home, whether, for example, a station is going to have an elevator in the first place, and whether that elevator is working, that's something that can totally change your experience before you even make the trip. Once you get to the station, you can use this, for example, if you're driving to the station and the elevator is at the front of the platform, you might park your car near the front of the platform, right? You don't want to have to wheel around the station looking for this elevator. Now you know exactly where it is. And the same thing goes with your destination station. Let's say you're going to Penn Station and you know that the elevator is going to be by the 7th car when you get there. You know it because it's in the app. You can go along the platform to make sure you're in the 7th car when you get on, so when you get off you don't have to rush through Penn Station where there are a lot of people. In both cases this information can help you. We also have screen reading in the app, so we built that throughout the app. The app will read to you in plain English what you're looking at, or what you've tapped on. So for example, you might tap on, let's say tap on the 2nd row here. Even if you can't read what's in the 2nd row, or if you're blind, there are ways to select the 2nd row, and we'll read it out loud, what you see. And we don't just read, exactly what's on the screen is written. We read it in plain English, kind of what you're looking at. Let me play that for you.
10:59 p.m. off-peak train towards Penn Station on track 2 in 15 minutes. Arrives at 11:20 p.m. Usually not full.
Great. So these are the accessibility features for today. I'm very excited about those. The next big item are the digital platform signs, which you can actually see behind me. Hicksville has these new wonderful color signs. So the first item that's new in this system is we have new designs, right? So if you were here in Hicksville 4 years ago, you would have seen these old monochrome displays, and the information would have been displayed differently. Now on the bottom of this screen, you can see what it looks like. You can see what it looks like now. You can also see in person. We also have new sounds. So in the previous iteration, we would have said, there was actually a preamble to every automated announcement. It said, "Attention Long Island Railroad customers." That's pretty wordy. So we replaced it with 2 different chimes. one of two different chimes, and these chimes actually serve two purposes. One is they're more succinct, right to the point. I love that. And the second is that there are two different ones, so they actually let you know whether you really need to listen to this announcement or it's informational. So the first one that's informational might be like when a train is arriving. That would be the chime that precedes that one. And then there might be one that's more of an alert, like a track change, something that you absolutely have to pay attention to or else you're going to miss your train. And that sounds like this. We also have a new voice of the Long Island Railroad, the great Julia Ireland from Long Island, longtime rider, and she's pictured on the screen there in the center, and it's really fantastic to have that Railroad Long Island connection for our new voice. So when you put these few items together, you get the following, and I think it sounds really great. Here's what it sounds like.
The 4:21 train to Sayville will arrive in 3 minutes on track 2.
Great. We also now have loading information. So last year we announced, we have 100% coverage on our fleet with real-time loading information, how many people are in each car of each train. So now we used to display that in the app, or only in the app and at Jamaica. Now we actually display it at every single station, including this one, of course. And so if you look at this screen, you would see that there is more space up towards the front, right? Because that's where the green cars are, and it's a little more loaded towards the back. One feature that I love is you'll see the platform under it, and it'll say, "You are here." Now, "You are here" actually refers to the sign. The sign is there. The train may not be there yet, but when the train pulls up, the sign's going to be right next to the front of that second car. And every sign actually has a different "You are here." So we did, again, a data collection effort, and we know where each sign is in each platform so that it has that contextual information, not just to tell you, oh, the third car has a lot of space, but then you want to say, okay, well, where am I standing now? Should I move back or should I move forward? We give you that contextual information. And finally, we put this in the audio. So if you listen to the end of this announcement, you'll hear this same information.
The 8:26 train to Ronkonkoma will arrive in 6 minutes on track 1. There are more seats available towards the front of the train.
There you go. This is available in 100% of our stations, and with the exception of a couple, and those are coming in a few months. So this is a huge rollout. It's not just a small item. This will have, I hope, a positive effect on really every rider every single day. Let me recap a little. We did this accessibility. We released all our accessibility features, a big data collection effort, verified all that data, put it in the app. We love that. And we also have the new platform signage system, and in particular that loading information with those fine details like "You are here" really give contextual information to customers, passengers, to help them make those decisions. And between these two, honestly, this is something that we don't see in really any transit agency in the world. I'm not just talking about commuter railroad, intercity rail, metro systems. I mean, this stuff is totally industry leading. So we're very, very proud. I'm very proud also of all the teams at the railroad, seeing this come together, many teams to make something like this happen. It's really fantastic. So with that, I will introduce our new voice, and thank you.
Thank you, Will, and thank you all for making this opportunity possible for me. I grew up riding the trains. My dad was a train aficionado, and we went everywhere in the country, and we were always on a train, and so this opportunity is very, very special to me. I've lived in Locust Valley for
1:54. Train to Huntington will arrive 8 minutes on track 3.
So as an experienced train rider, I've been here for 27 years. I commute every day, and it's a wonderful experience. It's a very efficient experience right now, and we know all the conductors. I know Joe and Al and Holly, and now my new friend Ann, who's the engineer out of Oyster Bay, who's apparently the best whistleblower, and it really becomes a big family experience. And so for us riders, it's special. It's so well done, as you can see by all the enhancements they've just made. The accessibility to the information, I particularly like the map where I know where all my train is and how soon it'll be coming and where it's going after this is excellent for us. And also all the prompts that we're getting, just like you're hearing right now, so we know where everything stands. It's phenomenal, it's first class, and I'm really honored to be the voice that gets to represent this company. Thank you. Phil, back to you.
Well, thank you everyone. And Julie, probably only on the Long Island Railroad could you be interrupted by yourself. But I think you heard from everyone, it really is a game changer for the folks that we serve. And we're continuing to look for opportunities to continue to improve that service. And it is a full team effort throughout Long Island Railroad, through MTA. So I couldn't thank everyone enough. I think with that, we'll take some questions.
Do you think the new features on the app will make people feel more comfortable knowing how many seats there are? Because I know in the past couple of weeks they've been concerned about the overcrowding of the trains.
Absolutely. That's one of the things that we want to do. We want to continue to spread the word. I believe we have probably about 40,000 users right now. Before the pandemic, we probably had 70,000 users of the old train time. But as people continue to use and they see all these features, it will give them the ability to think their trip through. And both from riders that are using it right now, but riders that are coming back, I think it will help them give more confidence to see that they can find those trains, and not only those trains, but which car is better for them. So all of these features are absolutely going to help. And if you don't have your phone, the reason we want the signs to show the same information and the announcements is to make it as many tools available to folks so they can't miss out on that information.
And then reverting back to the old schedule that you guys are going to, what exactly does that mean? Is it going back to the March 8th schedule, the pre-pandemic schedule? What exactly?
So the current schedule that we're running right now, aside from the fact that we did add some trains to that, was implemented on March 8th. The schedule that we're going back to is the same level of service that we ran the Friday before March 8th. It's approximately a little bit over 80% of our pre-pandemic train service.
A lot of people that were, that we spoke to during that time where you went to the weekend schedules were saying that the trains were crowded no matter where they looked. How do you think this is because they weren't looking at the app, or, in your experience, and you looked at what those trains looked like, right? You're able to tell how many people are on each train. What actually happened that week?
So on March 8th, actually, one of the things I talked about at the MTA board is the same information that we're providing our riders, we've provided to our operation folks. And myself, on that morning's commute, I was watching a couple of trains that I observed that needed to be adjusted, and one that I've talked about, the 5 o'clock out of Ronkonkoma. That was very crowded. There was 2 trains on the Babylon branch, but in reality, the rest of the trains did have capacity. There were some cases where we saw isolated cars that were more crowded, and the rest of the train would be green. So those were things that we knew with more announcements that we could adjust folks' travel patterns. I think we added 11 trains to the service, and right now, from a social distancing, from a perspective of giving people more room, there is sufficient right now, but we heard the loud and clear from our riders. The right thing to do was to provide some service back, give them that level of comfort during COVID-19. And then, as we're seeing, we're hoping that riders continue to come back little by little, and we'll be ready to support them.
About the delay from March 8th till now. Why couldn't you just go back to these schedules the next day or a few days later? Why take this amount of time?
So when we implemented the March 8th timetable, it was not only to look at finding opportunities to protect our finances for the future, but it was also to support critical work that we had ongoing in the system. So after that first day, we started to perform that infrastructure work. One particular example was Port Washington branch, where we'll be doing a lot of state of good repair, replacing rail and replacing it with concrete ties. Something that's important not only for safety today, but safety long term. But once we took that track out of service, it meant those jobs that originally were on that branch were no longer in existence. So we had to rewrite a whole new service plan, even though we're going back to similar levels, a service plan. So the people that are operating those trains were no longer in existence. They have to run on a single track. And then those trains, when they turn at Penn and then go down a different branch, again, all the trains' schedules and the crew assignments are affected. Over 366, I think 366 jobs were eliminated or abolished, and so it's rewriting that and then putting people into those assignments is part of it. Over the course of this weekend, we will obviously be moving the trains and reconfiguring the consist size, the number of cars in each train to support the new schedule. So all of this has been ongoing. I can't thank the labor partners enough, because with their support, the members have been helping us to move this along. So it's not just going back to the old schedule, but it's rewriting a new schedule that basically gives that same level of service. Many of the branches where we didn't have the same level of work, people will see similar schedules. Port Washington, they'll see the peak trains same as before, but the off-peak will be hourly.
So the 366 jobs are back.
The jobs are back, they're just in a different format.
Okay. And then Will, can you explain a little bit more? I'm not quite sure I understand how the app knows where I am. It knows where I am based upon the car. It says you are here.
Sure. So there are a couple things. You are here really means the sign is here. So if you're looking at this sign, you're probably within 20 feet or 50 feet of the sign.
Okay.
So you basically are there.
Okay.
And each sign, you know, if you look at that sign, that will have a different "you are here" than this one. So there are 4 rows on this platform. Each one will be different. So you can see where you are on the platform compared to where the train is going to pull in. Yeah.
If I could add, when you're using the app, you'll also see where you're on the platform. So if you walk along the platform, there'll be a dot on that platform image showing you as you walk down along the platform line.
Hi, Phil.
Hi, Alfonso.
Can you talk about the future of service changes? I know you're going back now to the March 8th schedules. A lot of folks weren't happy with the reductions, but the CFO of the MTA has talked about the need for right-sizing in the future, because there is an expectation that ridership is not going to return to previous levels. So are we done with service changes for a while, or do you think at some point you are again going to have to right-size a service?
So judging by the number of vaccinations and the shots that are getting aggressively into people's arms, and businesses slowly starting to reopen and allow more and more customers and people into their offices, I expect that ridership will continue to grow. At what level, at what pace, we don't know. Obviously, the MTA has done a number of studies that shows that by 2024, the MTA may be around 86% of our pre-pandemic ridership. Having said that, the ridership will continue to increase is our anticipation. So if there's any right sizing, I expect that it will be in the positive direction of adding trains back. And unless the island and the state has another wave and step backwards, which I don't anticipate, because everyone is really following the protocols and following the advice of healthcare experts. Any service change I expect at this time, with the exception of supporting vital work, will be in the upward direction, increasing train service. Other questions? Thank you, everyone.